Hey guys, this is Greg, the host of the Arc of Wrestling podcast. You're probably wondering right now, where's the podcast? Is it going to be up? There's going to be no podcast this week. We were having some recording difficulties on all our parts. No one was able to record the podcast, so if you do know, this coming Sunday is going to be our 1 year anniversary podcast. We're trying to get something special set up. I'm not going to say, that's all I'm going to say right now. So look forward to the podcast. I'm recording this to give you guys an update. I've been hearing a couple of you guys been asking, you know, what we're planning on doing into the future. You know, where's the podcast? Where do we see the podcast heading? So I decided to take some time out of my day to tell you guys what I'm planning on doing. First of all, we are looking into recruiting 2 new members for the podcast. That means more people will probably end up being on the podcast than you usually see on it. We need some guys for backup recording and everything, so you guys could get a podcast every week. Some days, if I don't show up to the podcast never gets recorded. So I'm hoping to get 2 new guys into the podcast that will able to help us record when I am not present. So if you like to be part of the podcast, message us or tweet at us over at twitter.com/arcofwrestling, and you will get an interview. If you want to be a part, we'll interview you. We'll bring you into our Skype group and we'll talk to you and see if you are eligible to be a part of our podcast. When it comes to that general podcast and its quality, I will be getting a new microphone. Right now I'm using a webcam microphone, which is not very good quality per se for a podcast. So I've spent some money in buying 2 new microphones, one for backup, one for the main podcast, and those will be hopefully coming in by the end of this week, so I could start recording the next podcast with the brand new equipment. We will also be using Blip.TV. It's a website that allows us to open up our range of, the distribution of where our podcast goes, and also may help us bring in some money to the podcast. It allows us to put some advertisements into the podcast and get some money flow into our pockets so we could buy better equipment so you guys can enjoy the podcast and we don't have to worry about, the quality of the podcast at the end of the night and if it's going to be up on time. So Blip TV, if you guys want to check us out, it's blip.tv/arcofwrestling. Go there, follow us, whatever that is. I'm not quite sure how it's supposed to be in Blip, and I'm going to learn more about it. But if you can, please follow us. It's going to help us a lot. Other news that I could tell you guys, the live stream, that's not on my priority list right now. I need to continue to look into Xsplit and some other programs that will allow me to broadcast on JTV in much higher quality. The licensing for Xsplit, it's like $16. I think I want to say they have a sale right now for like $16 for 3 months. But we're part of Lag Spike, and hopefully we'll be getting some income through that. And but if you guys want to, and it will help us a lot, we could use some donations. It will help us go straight towards the equipment, straight towards the podcast, the live stream. I won't be using the money for anything else. I may be putting up a donation button on our JTV stream, so you guys could go there. You could donate to us directly into my PayPal account until I set up a general Arc of Wrestling account. And that's it as much as I could think of for news. So this is just going to be a short little thing. If you guys follow us on twitter.com/arcofwrestling, youtube.com/arcofwrestling, blip.tv/arcofwrestling. You can find us on Facebook, find our Tumblr. I think it's arcofwrestling.tumblr.com. And that's it. That's all I can think of for give you guys a good update where we're planning. We're planning on a nice future going ahead. We're hoping for another year together with you guys, giving you a weekly podcast on WWE on TNA. We're gonna hopefully, the new guys that we're hopefully going to be recruiting for the podcast, they'll be just as bright as us. They'll hopefully we'll give you the best opinions, the best reviews for the shows. I thank you guys again. I hope that I can get some feedback from you guys in the comments below on the YouTube page, and we will talk to you guys later.